Good morning, and happy second day of spring. I was surprised to find it was on the 19th, but that's because we had leap year this year. So now the mystery is solved. So welcome to our Wednesday morning service here at Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living. It's a joy to be with you, and welcome to all of you online. I'm so glad you're with us. It's a wonderful thing. Have a few announcements before our beloved speaker, Reverend Katherine, comes up. So let's see. First of all, a big thank you to Dave and Bernice Lokovich, Carol Gillis, and Karen Dar, and the whole group that helped do breakfast, our big brunch on Sunday. That was a festive, fabulous experience with singing and dancing and all that. And I want to say thank you to Candy Kavanaugh and Lori Beretta because they decorated. They do a fabulous job. Yay, Candy. You're getting applause, Candy. I'm going to be sure you watch this. It's exciting that our teen group is coming together. We have some teens already committed to being here this Sunday. And so if you know a teen that might be interested in being part of our revitalized, renewed teen group, let them know that this Sunday is our next gathering, our first gathering as a new group. Our other teens kind of aged out. They've been going to teen camp, the last few years, and they all graduated. And now when you get to be a certain age, you can only be an assistant. You can't really be a teen at teen camp. You can be an advisor, a teen advisor. And we have had some of those. It's a wonderful thing. This Sunday, choir practice is right after service. We'll be rehearsing for the Easter Sunday service, which comes up next Sunday. Be very exciting. Oh, no, the week after that, 2 weeks, a week and a half from now. What else? We decorate our sanctuary with beautiful Easter lilies. They smell good. It looks fabulous to have them up here. You have an opportunity to remember a loved one, to do in memory of, or maybe just in honor of. I bought one in honor of my husband, who's still with us. There was a big board out in the foyer. If you notice it and you weren't sure what the heck that was, you can write up a little thing about who you're remembering, and that'll be posted out there when you buy your lily. You can also come, when you come on Sunday, Easter Sunday, you can take your lily home with you. All the lilies you buy, take them all home. I'm excited. I bought 3. Can't wait to have them at home. We have the most amazing workshop coming up. It's on the Enneagram with Reverend Melissa Felipe and Reverend Z. Egloff. So the Enneagram is a way of discovering more about your own personality and understanding the way other people show up in the world. It's a way to, what they say is, it's a way to jumpstart your self-wisdom, I guess, and find out what the hidden blueprint of your personality is. That's going to be on April 6th. It's a Saturday from 10 to 3:30. It includes lunch. It's only $65, and I have to tell you, it's really profound work. It's a lot of fun. They make it fun, and it's really a good investment in yourself. It can kind of shift things in your life if you're ready for a shift, and even if you're not, you'll just kind of be excited about it. We will be showing a quick short video of them on Sunday so you can see a little more of them. They're also going to be our special Sunday speakers that Sunday, April 7th. So that's 2 weeks. Let's see. Yeah, it's 2 weeks from this coming Sunday. I'm excited to have them here. They're fabulous musicians and singers and speakers. Today is day 51 of the Season for Nonviolence. We have handouts in the foyer with simple, inspiring spiritual practices, and we like to share them with you at our services just so you kind of get a gist for what's going on there. So today's practice is called choice, and it's just being aware of considering every person's dignity. So you're not joking inappropriately, or you're not joining into jokes that are inappropriate about any other group besides you, who you are, that we make everyone feel comfortable, just whoever they are. It's about our choice to be supportive and see the divine spiritual magnificence in everyone. We do have 2 book study groups. They're fabulous. And I know many of you come to some of them, but we have an online one with Reverend Katherine. It's on Wednesday mornings from 10:15 to 10:45. What's a book you're doing right now? Deepak Chopra. Quantum Healing. That is a powerful book. And then, of course, on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. right here in the foyer in person. Fabulous book. We're doing Michael Beckwith's book, which name I can't remember, but I just did the book study yesterday. It was fabulous. It's a great book. Thank you. Spiritual Liberation. If you want to be spiritually liberated, join. It's just free. It's a great connection, a real great sense of community. And we have yoga classes on Tuesdays as well. We have our Science of Mind class every Sunday morning from 10:15 to 10:45. We're actually using Living the Science of Mind, which is a bunch of short essays by Ernest Holmes. A very fun book to dive into and a good way to connect with others and talk about how you're applying the philosophy to your life, right? I want to give you all a quick update on what's going on with our flooding excitement here. We had the boardroom and the 2 offices below it really badly flooded by water and with water damage in the ceilings and the floor, the carpets, the walls. So all the remediation has happened. All the drywall's taken out, ceilings are gone, studs are bare, and downstairs, drywall, they're going to be removing carpeting downstairs. That's already removed upstairs. There's no mold now. There was pretty bad mold. So it's been completely cleared of mold, and they've encapsulated everything so we won't have mold growing up there or down there. It's going to probably, the next phase is reconstruction. So we're looking at contractors that could come in and redo those offices with drywall, carpeting, putting in new lighting, all of that, ceiling. And so we have like 3 bids. The board will be looking at who to choose. Altogether, we're probably going to have to spend about $50,000. The remediation was $25,000. It was $24,900, but I call it $25,000. And then we'll have reconstruction. We probably also have to trench and seal some concrete down low in what was Beverly's office, because it's like underground and water was seeping through the concrete. So I think it's a big job, and this is an amazing facility, and we need to do our due diligence to take care of it. So the board's going to be looking at how can we raise $50,000, easily in a fun way. So you're invited to join us with any ideas or money. Give generously. We appreciate it. What else? We have our annual meeting will be about a month from today. It's April 21st, and it's right after Sunday service. Members only, so if you haven't paid your membership dues, please be sure to do that. We'll be electing some new members to the board, and it'll be a chance for the board and leadership to connect and let you know what's going on, what we've done last year, and take a forecast and a look into the future. And we're doing great. We're doing great things, great work, have exciting things happening. So come join us for that meeting on the 21st. And now I'd like to introduce our amazing Reverend Katherine. Come on down.
Okay. We'll dance. We have this brand new podium, and since I don't often use podiums, I thought, well, this is a new thing, so I'm just going to put something there. Maybe I'll want to use it. I think it looks cool, doesn't it? It's barely there, but yet someone has the chance to use it if that's what they want. I'm a big fan of the new thing. It's cool. Welcome, good morning, and a very big welcome to those of you who are joining us on YouTube. We're glad everyone is here. And we're going to open this with prayer. This service that on Wednesday, we often have thought about this as our meditative service, not that it's a meditation, but that it's an intimate connection that we often have in this Wednesday service. As opposed to our Sunday service where we have a lot more music and we have a lot bigger celebration, but this is that connection service. So I invite you to join me as we come together in consciousness. The Spirit that moves through me in this brand new day, helping me to know that, yes, this is the day that God has made. And I do rejoice and am glad in this day. And glad in every day that I move forward, because I know that every day is a new day, new in the way of being. And so I take this opportunity as I come together with all of the fellow souls that are here to grow in some way, some idea, something that is useful, something that is good. I join in that chorus, in that time of being together, and knowing that good and only good comes from everything. And so I allow the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart to come from that divine light and wisdom of God. And I know that it is done as I say and do, in gratitude as I say, and so it is. You know, the idea that I'm organizing around today is that I am imagining this idea of a new idea coming and that good is moving through. I'm excited about how things happen. And when I was setting this up, maybe, I don't know, 5-6 weeks ago when we come up with our title, I'm not sure exactly what I was thinking. But I know that I was planning on the new, welcoming the new coming in, because I was anticipating the birth of my grandson, and he indeed was born on February the 23rd. So I was preparing even while I was here. I was getting all my, as we say, ducks in a row, so I could be gone for a couple of weeks to assist in whatever needed to be done. So I was embracing the new. I was embracing it wholeheartedly, knowing that it was good and that good was coming from that. But as this week rolled into, I began thinking that embracing the new is absolutely a wonderful thing when you've got a baby coming, when you've got a new thing or Christmas or a holiday or a vacation, and you're just knowing that good comes from everything. But I got to thinking too, new sometimes happens in many, many different ways. There is this wonderful anticipation, but what happens when the new may come as a pinch? Well, there are a lot of ways to handle pitches. They're just sort of like little bumps, and we go, well, you know, I could do that. That's not a problem. I notice that something's going on. And, you know, I'm remembering my grandson was only a couple of days old and was home from the hospital, and my chore when I was there was essentially to take care of him somewhere around 3 or 4 a.m. until about 8 so that my daughter could sleep, and my son-in-law as well. And so he was really fussing. This was the first morning that I was doing this. He was fussing, and he was sticking his legs out, and I thought, that poor thing has gas. That's what the problem is. And so, you know, I'm just bouncing and padding, and I'm doing all of these things and knowing, you know, that this gas is moving through, and I was dealing with that. To me, that's like a little pinch. You know what's going on. You know that it's not pleasant at the time, but it's moving through. And that's a pinch. But then there are times when the new comes along and you go, but wait a minute, I really don't like this at all. And it's like I'm gobsmacked with this and I don't like it. So what do we do? Well, that is a different challenge, it seems to me. Because there are a lot of ways you can approach this. You can say that you can talk yourself through this, going, whatever is going on here, I know that I will find my way through, that this is going to be, there's good that's coming from this. I say the things that are good for me, that if there's something I need to do, I am guided and I will move through this. And that is what happens. You think about things, you get guidance, and you move through. And then sometimes those situations seem to persist. Now, there is absolutely nothing but good that is flowing through us. Because it's not really, as Epictetus said a long time ago, it's not what happens to us that is difficult. It is our thoughts about what happens to us that gives us the disturbance. And so for some people, well, that's the same thing. I'm thinking about what this thing is. It is the same thing, but it's not. Many times in our lives, things happen to us, and we know they've happened to us, but we're able to move through them. But other times, our thoughts seem to be stuck in that problem. And so that's what I've been thinking the most about, is how we move through that. Sometimes it seems impossible, actually, to sort of figure out how to do something. It just feels impossible. There is a saying that the difficult can be done at once, but the impossible takes a little bit longer. Now, it was a French statesman that actually said that. But Henry Ford embodied the idea of that when he was in the infancy of car manufacturing and doing things. He had big ideas that sometimes his engineers were simply not able to embrace with his imagination. And so, in his own mind, if he had the idea, it was not impossible. Whether he understood the fact that if you can conceive of it, that you can do it, whether he understood that thought as some of us may understood it, he embodied the idea. So he had the idea for a different kind of engine. And so in that time, cylinders were straight up and down. And so he had the idea that if he slanted them, that he could get a stronger engine. So he sketched it out, and he took it to his engineers. And they looked at it, they studied it, the whole clot of them. Well, this is just impossible, they said. He said, well, I want you to try and see. So they worked over it, they studied over it, they were worried, and they came to it and said, look, it's just impossible. He says, okay, I want you to do this for at least 6 months. I want you to work on this and make this happen. Well, a year went by. It's impossible. We simply cannot do this. And he said, I want it done. Well, he was the boss. I want it done, and you keep at it. Well, eventually, of course, they did figure it out. And that's why we have the V8 engine that we still have today, because the impossible just takes a little bit longer. And so it's that idea that we persist with something rather than accepting defeat or that I can't or any of that. How do we do that? Well, how did Henry Ford do it? Well, number one, he did give it to somebody else to do and told them to do it. But I think when it's ourselves that we have to do, we have to be perhaps patient with ourselves. And we have to understand that there is no difficulty that we can't overcome. That whatever problem we're facing, no matter what it is, that the answer, the solution, already exists at the core of our being. And I believe that if you understand that principle, even if you don't know how it's going to work out. See, trying to work out the how of a problem yourself may just derail you. Let go of the how you're going to do that, and just keep knowing that there is a way. I do believe that some people had extremely difficult problems and got much farther than they thought they could, but at some point accepted whatever situation, that this is good enough, whether they said it that way or not. I have known a few situations in my family life that was like that. But if you really want to do something, you've got to do it yourself, and you can't be dependent on what other people tell you. You know, in Science of Mind classes, and those of you who've had Science of Mind classes might remember this, and going through, whether it's Science of Mind 101 or Foundations or whatever you had, there at some point in there you start imagining how you would like your life to be that's different. And maybe it's a workshop in which you do that. And one of the cautions that is often given is that perhaps you should just ponder this in your own heart without sharing that dream, that desire, that bigger thing with other people who may say, oh, that's impossible. Who may just step on your hose, that divine flow that's just coming, and step on that flow. And even if you keep saying, no, I know I can do it, there's something about that stepping on your dream that doesn't feel good. We are human beings, and we're here to learn. And sometimes we don't need to give ourselves the extra chore of having to overcome somebody else's concerns. We generally have enough to do with our own. At least I think I do. Well, I've had a number of things like this in my own experience. I'm not speaking from things that I've just read about. Every one of us have challenges in our lives. They may be consequential, or they may be seemingly consequential, but yet important. And I will persist for a very long time, even if it's on this track over here, figuring out how I'm going to do this. And what I know is trying to figure out the how tends to waste my time. And so recently, one of the things that we talk about if you talk about it, but it's in the news, it's in the culture, is the animosities, the hostilities, and all of the things that are happening in the Middle East. I truly, truly have no idea what the solution to that is. And that honestly gives me this place to know that what I can do is pray for peace. I can pray for harmony and not try to figure out how they need to get it done, because I actually don't know. And there's a freedom in that. And maybe if we can take that same freedom and apply it to our own situations when there are things we don't, and maybe it's a family situation that seems intractable. And maybe it affects you even if it's with other members of the family. You are affected simply because you're in that family atmosphere. You don't have to solve somebody else's problem. What you have to know is peace. And if you know peace for yourself, that peace radiates as you are being in the world. I do believe our consciousness goes with us. And I think the more affirmative our conscious is, I believe, the bigger that it is. I've read enough of Emma Curtis Hopkins that I truly feel that there is that idea that goes with, as she says, rise up my soul. And that wherever I walk, I will heal people simply because of that consciousness. And help me to heal wherever I walk. I just think that's a magnificent idea to have that consciousness. So we have the choice, and that is the word for today. We're having the choice of what we say and do, but we also have the choice of how we want to be in the world. How I want to not just appear to be, but to be. Because who we really are is what we communicate. I believe, and I have taught communication for a long time, and what I never got to explore as much as I wanted to was nonverbal communication, meaning at the degreed level. But I've read so much about it, and everything that I know says and have read says that what I think, what I feel, is so much more powerful than what I say. I know that I've had that experience when I'm listening to someone say something and something else is contradicting it. Some body language, some atmosphere, some idea. So how we are in the world is the way that we communicate, much more than what we say. Isn't that powerful? So it is incumbent upon us that when we have those things that really gobsmack us in life, that we handle them within ourselves, whatever the result is. And I can think of many of those gobsmacking things. There's the big diagnosis, there are the accidents, there are things that get damaged, there are things that get done, and they have to have things that are done to handle them. But how we handle it within our own consciousness, to me, that is the way it is. And remember, Ernest Holmes says that there is no difficulty that we cannot handle within ourselves. that we know within ourselves exactly how to do that. It's already there. If we don't discover it in 5 minutes, then we take longer to do it. But the knowing that we know, because Ernest Holmes said so, the knowing that we know helps us to have the courage, to the endurance even, to stay the course until we find that one way that we can truly embrace the new, even if it isn't what we originally planned. Several weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, I was talking about Byron Katie, because Byron Katie has dealt with people who really have been gobsmacked. They've been overwhelmed by some incidents in their lives, and she helps them to move through that by asking questions. And that question, it comes from what Epictetus says. It's not what happens to you, it's what you think about what happens to you that is really important. And she ultimately gets down to, who would you be if you didn't say this about yourself, if you weren't sad, if you weren't holding in this place? Who would you be? How would you be? And that is the way she helps people move through it. But as when I was listening to her present, not everybody was willing to step over that. So there are those among us who are going to stay where they need to stay for whatever reason, and it's not mine to judge, nor was it Byron Katie. She allows them to hold on to the bitter resentment that they may have. We all have the choice. Do we want to be the free individuals that we are, able to step out into the world, generous, kind, loving, and helpful? Or do we want to hold on to those things that wound us? It's always our choice. And I love the fact that we as human beings have that choice. So I know right now for everyone in this room that any choices that are in front of us, we embrace with the full sovereignty of the spiritual divinity that is within us, and embrace the choice. The choice is always mine. It always belongs to everyone. And I allow everyone to make those choices for themselves. And I go forth in dignity and love and truth, knowing that good does come from everything. And so I can say, and so it is. I didn't go back here, but I could. Does anyone have oh, yes, Ruthie has her job. Ruthie is going to pass the plate. And as Sharon so eloquently put it, your generosity is very much appreciated. Our $50,000 that extra that we're looking for, would love you to be the source of our prosperity as we are moving forward. So let us say our affirmation. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love, and so it is. Now, did anyone have a comment or a question? Because Mr. Grant or one of the other acolytes will provide you with a microphone if you want to.
I'm going to be an acolyte today.
Oh, here is the acolyte.
Questions, comments, prayer requests? Anybody? I think that was fabulous, Reverend Katherine. Brilliant. I'm changing the way I think about things already. Oh, here comes.
Embrace the new. Hi, Anne.
Hi. I think that's absolutely amazing. Embrace the new. Usually we think of that as the new, the exciting, the wonderful, but to be able to embrace whatever is new and as you said, find the good that is in it and persevere. I was thinking how interesting it is that This morning, it kept coming through my mind, the Beatles song and the words, there will be an answer, let it be, and it just kept going, okay, there will be an answer, let it be, let it be. And
Yeah, there's a song in that, isn't
know,
there?
it's
There will
kind of-
be an answer. I can hear that soundtrack.
And, yeah, it kind of went well with what you were saying. I really liked that. So thank you for all of that. There was some other idea I wanted to share here. Let me think. Well, that is mainly it, just to be able to embrace the new, whatever it is, and find the good in it. Oh, I know what it was. I was thinking that I heard a psychiatrist speaking on the radio yesterday on the internet, and she was saying she had worked many places, but one in prisons, and she said that there is what happens when there is negativity being expressed by some people, that it spreads and it's catchy. And they found that people that were really in serious mental condition were spreading their condition to other prisoners. But when they separated them out from the secondary people got better. And so I thought that's really interesting, because I see how we are so, at least in my own case, influenced by the people that we spend time with. And sometimes there are situations that are difficult to get away from, but it's so important to have like-minded people to fill your cup up with. And I think that is kind of an antidote for the negativity that might come our way, that it's hard to avoid sometimes, to be sure that we have lots of presence of like-minded people to keep us on track.
Presence, yes.
Yes, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne. Appreciate that. Anyone else?
Anyone else? Okay, thank you.
And you're the cheerleader.
Oh, hi. My name is Cheryl. I had a chance last weekend to go out with a good friend of mine that I've known since freshman year in high school. We met, and our husbands, get along, and so she lives in San Diego, though, so I hardly get to see her. But I don't know what she was thinking. She kind of made it a little bit difficult, because we live here, and I was thinking, well, we're going to go there, because it was Steve and I's anniversary to go. And, but I don't know the restaurants there. She goes, well, I don't know. You'll have to find out. I'm like, okay. So I gave that over to Steve. And then I said, what about, we're going to stay in a hotel. What about a hotel? I don't know about any of it. She was like, no help at all. I thought, what is going on? But we got together, and the first hug, the first smile, the first laughter, it was wonderful. And I didn't care how weird she was acting or anything. So, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just don't say, like, okay, forget it. I'm not going out with her. She's driving me nuts now. So I just went, it's my good friend. It's going to be fine. And it was more than fine. It was really a nice
More
time.
than fine. I like that.
It was really
I
amazing.
like that.
That's all.
I wanted to underscore something that Dr. Sharon said in announcements, and you made me think of it, is how if you have any teenagers in your orbit at all, that you even think remotely might be interested in a community activity with like-minded teens, please encourage them this Sunday. We're going to have a wonderful time. Yes, thank you.
I don't recall the woman that you mentioned that said something along the lines of, may I heal?
Can you hold that microphone just a little closer?
I don't recall the woman you mentioned that said something along the lines of, may I heal where I walk, or may I heal as I go through. Katherine?
It's from Emma Curtis Hopkins. Okay. It's a line where she says, rise up my soul and heal the sick wherever I walk. It's from one of her books.
If any of you are familiar with the Heart Math Institute, they have like 25, 30 years of actual
I have heard of it, but
measurements.
that isn't where that particular thing comes
They
from.
use technology, and they've actually measured that the emanations from the heart center literally go 5 feet around you. So yes, we have the option of moving away if their thoughts are creating emanations that we find disturbing. And we also have the choice to get so connected to the place of peace and joy that we emanate
Yes.
5 feet around us
Yes.
a different vibration that is also contagious because we're all interacting with each other. And if you picture 5 feet, I was doing this at one point, I realized, wait a minute, that's like the size of whatever room I was in was around a 5-foot, 6-foot room. And it's quite the giving, contemplative, meditative practice to picture yourself surrounded by 5 feet of whatever your thoughts are putting out. And we can contribute, as you mentioned with that woman, we can
Thank you.
truly contribute
Thank
in
you.
a way that's even
I
been
hear you.
measured.
Yes.
Thank you.
You know, that reminds me, I don't know if any of you all have been particularly fatigued recently. The day that I drove back from San Francisco, it's 400 miles, and I was needing sleep a lot. And I was walking through my house, and I don't think I was radiating 2 inches. I felt like I had poor posture. I was barely, when I was going up my stairs, I told my daughter, I think I weigh 300 pounds. It was just so, but fatigue, does kind of rip into my way of being, and I needed that nap before I could go on. And that's what it triggered when you said that, because I was remembering this view of me was almost like hunched over, moving, and I doubt that I was radiating much positive, just fatigue. So, it's what happens to me anyway. Anyone else? Thank you so much for being here. And I love your comments, and anytime you have anything to say, you are welcome to say. That's what this is for. Have a good rest of your week. Maybe we'll see you Sunday. We're going to be talking about more good stuff Sunday.